I'm going to introduce our host, and that is, I'll say a few words about our host, none other than Vice President of the Musicians Union, Rick Baptist. He has been on more movie scores and more television scores and more records and TV shows than you can imagine. And we're so honored and thrilled for him to be our MC today at this event. He's a bit of a show off, so you can see he's got some gold records on the wall. He actually performed on those, so he's actually not showing off. And there's so many more at his home. He has many other gold records. So Rick, thank you so much for agreeing to MC. I'll be a moderator throughout. I also just want to mention we have a
Cool.
world class sound mixer, producer, engineer who's going to be joining us, Damon Tedesco. Because of his schedule, he's actually working on the set today. He is going to have a short window. So when he joins us, which will probably be in the listening Rick Baptist.
Hi, doing? Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here for two reasons. One is that I was privileged 2 years ago, 2019, to meet these young musicians. And at that time, I mean, they knew that they were they had just putting together this band, Wasted Eternities. They wanted to have a career. And so I was thrilled to be able to talk with them. Like John says, as I'm vice president of the union, musicians union. In fact, we're sitting in my office, so that's why I have all my little goodies back there, little gold records that I actually I'm a trumpet player. I worked in the studios for 40 years. But the cool thing was to meet these three young men. And at the time, I believe they were like maybe eighth grade, ninth, no, they might have been 10th grade, I guess. And to see their enthusiasm and uh, they knew that they wanted to make it and they wanted to do it. And to do it plain heavy metal music, which you're going to hear. I mean, these guys idolized Metallica, Slipknot, a few other bands that they knew that in their hearts, that's what they wanted to do. And so they had this opportunity uh, through uh, 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 through the Inglewood school system, and who I will introduce their president in a minute. But it's just, I think that you will be, if you've never heard their work, you're going to be totally blown away by what these young musicians are doing. It's amazing. And I kidded them. I talked to them last week, and I was sitting in this exact same place. And I said, okay, guys, now you got to promise me when you get your first gold record, I want to put it up on the wall right next to Michael Jackson's and Linda Ronstadt and Lionel Richie and all the others I have here. I want it up there. So I made them promise me that once their record goes gold, that they're going to give me a copy of that because I'm telling you, you are going to be totally knocked out listening to this music and this event. And so I've talked enough. I will be coming back in and out to kind of keep things rolling. But in the interim, I would very much like to introduce Abba, who is the president of the Inglewood Teachers Association. She is the lady who, I mean, there you are. Hello, Abba. It's good
Hi,
seeing
Rick.
you
How are
again.
you?
So I'm gonna turn it over to you so you can say a couple things about these amazing students, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. And hello, as Rick said, my name is Alvin Gissa, and I'm the president of the Inglewood Teachers Association. And I want to first thank Musicians at Play and Musicians Fund LA. John, April, thank you. You guys have been, like Rick said, you've been working with the young men for a couple of years now. And I want to just say that I'm just so proud of them. I'm just I'm privileged to have known them from the sixth grade, be their teacher. And these are self-taught musicians. And to see their passion and dedication and where they are right now. And so thank you for working with us to make certain that, they can show their talent and they can grow. And this is something they want to do and they can do in their future. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Abba. That's great. So now I think without further ado, I would very much like to have Alejandro come on the screen and introduce his fellow bandmates. All right. Alejandro, you got it, brother. Talk
All
about
right.
your guys. Talk about yourself.
All right.
The spotlight is on you now. It's
All
on
right.
yours.
All right. How are you guys doing? My name is Alejandro Rodriguez. I am the frontman, singer, and guitarist for Eternities. So a little bit about it, just real quick. So basically, we started off around. We've been playing together for about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 years, right? So we've always been together. It's always been us three. Always been. We've been through concerts. We've been to Arizona together. We've been through hour-long sessions, recording sessions. It's always been us three, just working hard, doing our thing. Now, what I'd like to introduce to you guys today is I'm 17, and I like to pass it Abdi.
All right, what's up? My name's Abdi, and I'm the drummer for Wasted Eternities, and I'm 18. And well, I was actually the last member of the band because these two known each other since they were babies, since like they were born, and I was new and everything. And then 8th grade happened, middle school. We played, I don't remember, Seven Nation Army. That was the first thing we ever played together. And then later on, we clicked. We kept going on and on and on, and then here we are. Now I'm passing it to David.
Hi everybody, my name is David Monroy. I am 17 years old and I play bass guitar for the band, and yeah, that's pretty much all you have to say. Oh, and we've been rocking it since the very beginning.
Nice. Okay, now without further ado, I'd like to show you guys our songs. If anyone has anything to add, please let me know. All right. So here's our debut EP album. This is called Ruins. So the first song that we're going to show you about 3 songs today. The first song I'm going to show you today is called Blackout. This song is about society. This song is about how, though everything around us today is breaking down, nobody can get along, nobody can be happy together. There always has to be a problem. And so this song is about societies leading to a blackout. What's that? All right. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Enjoy. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was our first song named Blackout.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Now, any comments real quick?
Yeah, I have a comment. It was fantastic. I
you so
mean,
much.
again, your musicianship is amazing. I mean, that's yeah, the drums and the guitar. I mean, you guys, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing to hear.
that song was one of our man. The birth of that song was amazing. We were just sitting down one day eating pizza after practice, and I was chilling on a chair, and I was like, I was like, yeah, you guys like that? I was like, oh, that sounds cool, and that became that.
Bravo.
Now for our next song, Bad Omen. So Bad Omen is about essentially a split personality disorder, being who you are and being who you want to be perceived as. There's always a fight between who you want to be perceived as and who you really are. And that song, this is what the song is about.
I did.
So that was our second song called Bad Omen, and quite possibly our favorite song we've wrote so far.
So, Alejandro, I don't know if, we have one of our panelists,
Yes.
who is David Tedesco, who is working at Fox right now. He's working on a show, and he's graciously said that he's going to join us. And I believe, Damon, if you're there, are you there, brother?
Hey, Rick. I am looking at the attendees, and I don't see him on yet. Let me see if he is. Yeah, no, I don't see him having joined us yet. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's probably just getting out. We do have another panelist, Don Williams, who joined us.
Yes.
Sick.
You're on, Don.
Oh, we just we're you can I think you can unmute Don now if you want to say a few words. Try and unmute. You should be able to now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna help him.
All right. Well, we're figuring.
I'll be right with you.
There you go, Don. We
There
can
you
hear
go.
you.
And they can hear you.
And I don't.
You could tell this is live, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, he is. We can hear Don now.
Yeah.
Don Williams is a. Well, Rick, why don't you say a few words about Don and his career?
I mean,
worked with him.
aside from the fact that Don and I go back quite a few years to our days in Vegas. Don is an amazing percussion player.
We can hear you, Don. By the way, FYI, we can.
That was me. Sorry.
Don April
Oh,
Williams.
so they see you and they hear you.
Yeah.
You don't have to see you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right?
Don. So, Don, why don't you? I was just telling our audience that you and I go back quite a few years together, and why don't you tell them? I mean, I know that Don of the 1,300 movies that I played on, I think Don was on at least all of those. He's a percussion player. I'm a brass player. And he's got a pretty famous relative. Don, why don't you talk about yourself and then talk about that other guy? I forget his name.
Well, let's get the other guy over with. My brother's John Williams of Star Wars fame. I've worked with him, and so is Rick. I don't know how many years, 35 to 40 years that we worked together, from back all the way to Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T.
Right.
And all the Indiana Jones films. And we just did the last 3 Star Wars pictures here. So it's, plus there's a lot more fun out there besides John. There's a lot of great composers that I've had an opportunity to work with, and Rick as well. We can talk about Elmer Bernstein and Jerry Goldsmith. But I've been doing this for a long time. I studied legitimately at a classical music school back east, and started symphonically first. Then I moved to Las Vegas, where I met my friend Rick when we started working together in Vegas, and we played a lot of shows together. You can't help but get better every time you play every night. If you're working every night, your chops and your mental outlook get better and better. So anyway, I've done this for a long time. It's been a family affair. My father was a drummer, worked in radio. My other brother, Jerry, is a drummer, a great drummer, worked on the Carol Burnett Show, Jonathan Winters. He's got as long a career envelope as mine, and probably longer. So anyway, that's the Williams family in a nutshell. I think I listening to the two.
About the music a little? About the Wasted Eternities that you just heard?
Oh, okay. So I like the second tune more than I did the first. I thought both of them were good, well organized. There was something about the groove that was not as. The first tune has got a ridiculously fast tempo, which is really difficult to keep steady. Which is important. You really have to keep that steady. I think that maybe that tune could have been just a tad slower. I think it would have, come together a little bit better and quicker. The second tune I like a lot. I was thinking about a couple of grooves that you could change going from halftime to double time, and that one seemed to have a little more flexibility musically to do those kind of things. Anyway, I like the second tone a lot. So I mean, they're both good, but if I had to pick my druthers, I would have taken the second tune as opposed to the first.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. If you think that one's fast, if you think the first one's fast, you should hear the fourth one. That one is almost double the speed of the first one.
Oh, gosh.
Gotta keep one for the crazy metal fans. Always the crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So
Well, that's thank you, Don. Again, I think that the thing that's amazing to me is that, you know, Don and I, we were working together. We were a whole lot younger. No, we were maybe a little bit older than you when we started working together. But I love what Don said, and that was, the more you play together, the more, and that's not only with this band members, that's everything. The more you work together, you guys grow then as musicians. And that's exactly what, which I believe Don and I and any other musicians that are out there right now did. And you grow as players, you grow. And I love the fact, and Alejandro, you said that, is that you guys work, you talk it over the tune, you're, you know, playing the tune, and then, hey, what do you guys think? I love that. That is how a band gels and becomes better. And you guys are going to do nothing but grow as far as players. I think your fan base is lucky, number one, to have found you. And I think that with this live stream, with the fact that you're getting this stuff out there and your new album's Ruins, it's gonna really make you guys even stronger. But it's amazing what you're doing as far as, I mean, heavy metal, not a lot of trumpets, but I have to tell you this, Alessandro, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, and Abdi and the other guys, is that in 1999, I got a phone call from Michael Kamen, and he says, Rick, he says, you're from San Francisco. I said, yeah, I was, yeah. He says, we're going to be doing an album up there with this heavy metal band, Metallica. You ever heard of them? I said, yeah. He says, well, he says, I want you to come up. And they brought me up there, and I sat in the orchestra and played that album with Metallica. I think the album's called SNM. Yeah. And so it was amazing. And again, listening to you guys and hearing what you do, and I could definitely see the influence, and I think it's fantastic. But I had to get that out to you to tell you that, yeah, I actually did play on that album.
So you played on No Leaf Clover.
Yeah, really cool. Anyway, so did Damon join us as yet? Do we know?
He has not joined us yet, Rick. I'm looking at the attendees. I'm keeping an eye on it. So as soon as he joins us, I'll let you know. But not yet. He's not.
Okay,
on.
cool.
All right.
So, guys, do you have one more song that you were going to play?
We do.
Okay, why don't we do that? Okay.
Our third one's a fan favorite, actually. This one's called Corrupted Dreams. So basically, this one's actually a really popular one among our fan bases. You know, people who like calmer music, obviously. This one's actually a more melodic song, not as heavy as our other songs. We like to make ballads also because we like to, you know, expand our horizons, if you would. So this song's about essentially nightmares, how sweet dreams can become corrupted in a second.
Run around without my eyes, wandering inside my mind, lost in this life of mine.
So that was our third song, Corrupted Dreams.
Bravo.
Can I jump in for a quick second
Of
and
course.
suggest a couple of things that I think that would be very, very helpful?
Of course.
I like that one. It's like every tune I like better than the last one, which is really good. That's good. It means the album's got content. For your own sake, let's go into a scenario here where you're starting to do 4, 5, 6 nights a week, and you have to sing that hard every night. Rick knows my nephew Joseph, who's the lead singer with Toto. And Joseph has been with that group for a long time, and they've been on tour and traveled all over the world time and time again. And he told me a few years ago when they were at the Greek Theater that he was taking lessons from a legitimate opera-style voice singer who he was studying with. And what it was doing was it was giving him strength and stamina. He wasn't changing his sound or anything, which is that you don't want to do that. The sound that you have is your sound. But I think that if you were to study with somebody really, really good to teach you how to breathe well and not work your vocal cords so hard, because Rick will back me up on all of the singers that we've known over the years that we've had to work for. And we see that at the beginning of their career, they started in one key, and towards the middle of their career, they dropped down a minor third because they couldn't sing the high notes anymore, right? So my suggestion to you is to find somebody that you can, a legitimate voice teacher, not to change your sound. Don't change the sound. You're not going to do that. But what it'll do is it'll help you keep your sound together when you're out on the road 5, 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
Because you will get tired. You know, and everybody gets tired. I worked with Tom Jones for about a year and a half, and he had a whole daily regimen that he had to go through. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to handle the tour because he sang hard too. Joseph sings really hard in that band in Toto. You know, and I asked him, I said, how do you keep the stamina? He's like, man, I've been going to see Gerald White. He's teaching me all the things that I need to keep myself together while I'm out on the road. And he's not a young guy. He's not a young guy. You are. So you got the opportunity to grow, which you're going to do anyway. But I'm thinking as an educational thing, it would be good to hear other people and other concepts. Plus, it would be great to have some strength so you can handle a 6-night a week tour. You know, and that would be my concern. And as a suggestion to you, I think getting a good singing teacher would be, excellent for you to do. You know, don't change your concept.
Of course not.
Just strengthen yourself.
See, because that's
fantastic. That's great advice. I want to suggest, Alejandro, now we stop the screen share. We're going to go into the panel discussion now, which maybe now, Rick, I'm not sure if we did a full introduction of the panel, so we'll go ahead and have Rick do just a quick little intro of who's on the panel. Oh, and you're muted, Rick.
Ta-da! Okay. I am a trumpet player. Leave me alone. Anyway, yes, I think we have I love this industry panel because there's diversity among it. And so while I have the lovely John Acosta, who was my president, and I've been his vice president for 6 years, and I've heard John's background is a guitar player and singer. He is, in fact, I'm very thrilled to say that John's back in the studio again, doing the things that, he was, John, I really think you should let them know when you started who was really scouting you out there, Also, we have the president of the Musicians at Play, and this is April Williams, and Don is her husband. April is I always said to Don, how the hell you keep up with her? She is a fireball. And I say the same thing about the other person who is with Musicians at Play, and that is Cindy Peace. I know her husband very well. And I said, Tom, I don't know, how do you guys keep up with these two ladies? They're always out looking to make things better for musicians, make things better for everybody that they are around. And so, and then the last person, I don't know if Damon's on as yet, but if he is, Damon Tedesco
Yeah.
is from uh, he is from real royalty as far as musicians in this town. His father, I'm sure everybody out there has heard of the group The Wrecking Crew, which in the 50s and 60s and 70s recorded every major record that came out. And his name was Tommy Tedesco, the greatest guitar player you will ever hear, played on hundreds and probably thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of records. And Damon is his son. Damon has carried it on as far as his dad's legacy, and his brother Denny, they actually put the documentary out on the Wrecking Crew. And so I don't know if Damon's with us as yet, but
Unfortunately, Damon was unable to join so far, but if he does, I'll go ahead and let you know, Rick. And then it looks like Cindy Peace has made way for Tom Peace. So Tom Peace is now joining us.
Good. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Rick.
Very good.
Yeah, and I just
All
want
right.
to say that Tom is the educational programs director at Musicians at Play, and his background, I don't even know all the things, but it's 30 years with LAUSD, writing grants for them, directing the choir and music programs. I don't know, Tom, I don't want to insult you by not naming everything you've done. Do you want to just introduce yourself a little?
Very briefly, actually, I can relate to you guys because I started off playing in garage bands back in the day, you know, when I was in high school or even before. Went on and got a couple of degrees in music composition at USC, taught for LAUSD for close to 40 years, and now conducting a small chamber group. I'm composing, and doing stuff for Musicians at Play, which is a lot of fun.
Great. And I just want to say, if I could just jump in, Rick, really quickly. As the past president of the Musicians Union, I had the thrill of working with these young men and the Inglewood School District on a fantastic program a couple of years ago, the Songwriting Boot Camp. And that really was my introduction to this community, but to these phenomenal musicians. And my background, I started in music really young. I was a saxophonist and a flautist, and then started playing guitar. I think I was 13 or 14. I started with guitar, and by the time I was 17, I was offered a record deal I grew up in New York in the Bronx, to move to LA and record an album with RCA Records. And I was actually in 12th grade at the time, and I dropped out to go to LA, which I don't recommend you do, finish high school, because I ended up having to go back to finish high school. I think you guys are almost finished anyway. And I had a record deal at a very young age and recorded some albums, made a breakthrough with a band called Forest for the Trees, which you can find on YouTube. And our connection to the 15 Minutes of Fame was working with Beck, who is an artist, alternative artist, who blew up around the same time, and we were kind of band mates working in the same community. And just, hearing your music, it's phenomenal. I think Don gave some really great suggestions. The vocal cords are precious, and now they're really strong and full of gusto. But the more you use them and maybe misuse them, later down in your career, that may become an issue. But I'm really impressed by the music you've put together. The musicality is phenomenal. I guess the arrangement of the songs is phenomenal. The recording quality, I think, is excellent, which is also really important when you put a record out. There's no such thing as a demo anymore. It really should sound as close to the finished product as possible. So that's really important. And the only other thing I'll say, and let other folks speak, is playing live is really going to make or break your band. Recording is one thing, and you definitely want to keep recording. But once you have your EP like you do now, you want to perform live. You want every opportunity that you can perform live is another step to that magical moment where you're going to make that connection with that one person that's going to open the door to your next opportunity. When I was working with Beck in the early 1990s, he would play at every coffee house, every garage party, every little event that he could get up and do a few songs. And he really started getting a cult following in Los Angeles, which then became the base for where he blew up and grew into a major label artist, and had a bidding war, and ultimately has had a really phenomenal career. But I think keep playing together, try and perform live, keep recording with this kind of quality. I also say that try and get some background on the music business. As a young band, you're all friends now, but once money comes into the picture, it really puts a strain on your friendship. So the sooner you can get, your agreement amongst your band, like John Lennon and Paul McCartney made a deal early on. They were going to split all of their, publishing 50-50, and that worked out for them. And, obviously they went off to have a great career. Try and work out the business end really early on. And there's a really great book that I was given when I was a teenager called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. And I would recommend strongly you get that book and keep it close to you, and read it as much as you can, because it'll give you a good overview of the business. And now with that, I'm going to be quiet and hand it back to our MC to moderate.
Yeah, I totally agree, John. And yes, you never know. The reason I tell all these young musicians that I mentor as far as talking is playing live. You never know who's going to be the audience to hear you play. So that's why when you step foot on that stage, you pick up your instruments, you play the best of your ability at all times, because you never know who's going to be in that audience to hear you play. That's the thing. And that really has happened in the past to many musicians. I did want to bring Tom in on something that Don said. And I think what Don was trying to say, especially for Alejandro, for your voice, was just efficiency, And Tom has, in his career, coached many vocal groups. He's had many groups. I've been to concerts where he's up there waving his arm, conducting his little heart off, and hearing great singers. So Tom, what do you think as far as what Don said with the strain on the voice?
Yeah, so it's really important.
Go, Tom.
You can blow out your voice very easily. So, and as Don was saying, you don't have to change your style. As a matter of fact, there are people in LA who will teach you, how to scream properly, so that you can scream night after night. Because if you don't do it right, you can really hurt your voice. Nodes is a common problem for singers who don't take care of their voice, and that can put you out of commission. Sometimes permanently, but it's several months. So that's a really important thing, and we're lucky in LA. There's a lot of people who you can go to, who are really good teachers. And again, it's not, like Don said, it's not changing your style. It's just learning how to use it efficiently so you don't hurt yourself. I did want to say you have a very great voice. I really like the sound, and there's a lot of strength in there. In it, I don't know. I mean, have you studied with somebody already? No. Yeah. So you've got a lot of potential, and as you study with people too, you can find that you can expand what you can do. So you may find that all of a sudden you can add 5 notes on top. So you've expanded your range, which gives you more freedom to do other things. Or you may find different kinds of vocal styles that you can move into. So yeah, you get some training. It'll really help you out.
Rick, I
And then
think
I would like to jump in. Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
no, I just want Don, when you get a chance, has comments again about the drums and the music.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, because I know we've talked about the vocal, but now we have Abdi and we also have David. And so Don, go for it, Don. Talk to the musicians part rather than the vocalist.
The musician
No, he
part.
plays guitar too, so that's good.
Yeah.
So go, Don.
What I can say about the drums, I like the sound concept. my interest would be in how big the bass drums, the tom-toms, what kind of a snare, all those things, they're important. Is it a big set?
It's an intermediate set. It's a regular 22, 10, 12, 16 regular set.
Good.
And the snare drum is a Pearl limited edition with Remo Power Stroke 3 head.
Great. All good equipment. It's better to be working off a medium set like you're working off of. If that way you can go, if you can go smaller, you can go larger. Great sound concept. Have you ever taken any serious drum lessons?
No, I've never taken any lessons.
It's it doesn't take that much to get a hold of what I would be talking about. I think it's really good for all the musicians, bass included. You got to study with as many people as you can. I spent, I don't want to tell you how many years, but I think over the years, and Rick will back me up on this, I've seen different people for different things at different points in my life, where I would study congas with Alex Acuna or Paulinho da Costa. I would search these guys out and learn from them. And I was able to take that to work with me every night. I did a lot of shows, as Rick knows, we at the Schubert Theater, 8 shows a week. That was why I suggested to Alejandro about getting a voice, because you want to be able to do 8 shows a week. You all want to be able to do 8 shows a week. Doing exercises, simple rudimental exercises, is really important. You should always get after the rudiments. Not all of them every day, but you should get after 1 or 2 just to keep your motor functions working. Education, man, it's a study thing. I've studied from guys that I really liked, from Harvey Mason to Billy Cobham, even dating back into the bebop days with Tony Williams and a few other people. I'll study each one of these guys. I don't get everything, but if I learn one thing from the guy, it's good. It's a good thing. So I studied as many guys as I possibly could. There's this young fellow from New York, Antonio Sanchez. I can't think of the movie that he did the score for. It was a drum. I wish I could think of the name of the picture, but I can't. Anyway, Antonio has gotten to be one of the busiest guys in New York doing studio sessions. So, to get a chance to listen to those guys, Steve Gadd, you get to listen to these guys, you're going to pick up information, whether you even notice it or whether you just kind of assimilate it. You got to study as many guys as you can. You'll get a better sound concept. Sound concept is good. I like the snare drum sound. You got it tightened up pretty tight.
The bottom head, I have it as tight as I can before it pops. I have it really tight, and then the snare wires, I have it just enough so it rings, but not too loose, so it just rings out. That's forever.
Good. That's good. That part's really, really good. You never want to get the top head tighter than the bottom head. Never. I know a lot of jazz guys used to tune their drums really, really loose. So it got a little floppy sounding. But each one of those guys had a system as to whether the snare head is lower than the bottom head. That's kind of a concept that's been forever. And I think you got that right away. So naturally, you've already found a good sound concept. Now it's just a question of, just like the same thing with Alejandro, study with somebody, get some, it just opens up your chops. I like listening to Vinny Colaiuta because this guy practices all day, every day, which is one of the reasons why he's so good. Sound concept stuff, the high tempo stuff. Rick and I used to work in a band in Vegas, a Jimmy Manone band. It was a 17-piece rock and roll big band. And we had tempos like that. And you really had to think of being steady and being time oriented, which I like because you didn't fill up a whole bunch of stuff with a lot of fancy fills. You're playing the music. I had a relative of mine say, if you're listening to the music, it'll tell you what to play. Right? So you're listening to the bass and you're listening to Alejandro. They're kind of telling you how you're going to play this. You also know what the tempo is going to be. But these are the little tidbits that you can take apart to make yourself a better player. Because you don't want to backslide. You want to keep becoming even a better player. You might even get into the point where you really want to do other studio work and other gigs, other people that you want to work with. You're all going to do that at one point in time. You're all going to look to do stuff like that. So I would just, again, it's an educational thing. Study, increases your hand speed, increases your feel, and listen to so many guys. Just listen to as many guys as you can, from Steve Gadd all the way back to Tony Williams. Can't get enough information.
That's great. Thank you, Don. I wanted to bring David. David, I had a question for you. Are you self-taught? Did you take lessons? Tell me, David, how did you get into and why bass?
Well, I've been mostly
Can you hear
self-taught
me?
throughout my. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've
So
been self.
you are
I'm actually
self-taught?
self-taught. Yeah, and I
Great.
was actually a guitarist at first, but since Alejandro was already a guitarist, so I decided to pick up a bass. And
Very
actually,
cool.
I did
And
real well.
who are some of the people that you listen to and that you like the way they play?
Les Claypool, Metallica, and pretty much like 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 heavy metal bands and a very talented bassist.
That's fantastic. And what about Alejandro? Who was your inspiration on guitar?
Oh man, I have a lot of inspirations. Like, where to start? Where to start? All right, let's see. So, my main inspiration, my biggest one that made me say, "Hey, I want to do that," was Kirk Hammett from Metallica. I'm pretty sure I don't know. You might know him. Who knows, right? So, and another one. What's his name? I forgot his name. He has a very edgy name. He's from Avenged Sevenfold. What is his name? Sinister
Gates.
Gates. Sinister Gates. That was his name. Thank you, David. His name is Sinister Gates. He plays incredibly fast and incredibly melodically, and I just love the melodic nature with the speed of it. It just makes it sound really cool. And I have a lot of for vocal inspirations. I do have some. You want to hear those too?
Sure, of course.
Okay, vocal inspirations. So one of my biggest vocal inspirations, obviously Metallica. We take a lot of inspiration from there. Another inspiration, huge inspiration, Tom Araya from Slayer. He knows how to scream his heart out, but knows how to scream it sing at the same time. Another huge one,
Right.
Jonathan Davis from Korn. He has a just amazing voice in general. And Phil Anselmo from Pantera. He has phenomenal voice, and I try to like get a little bit of I try to replicate what they do, but also had my little sprinkle of originality in it. You know, take some from here, make some from here, make a new color as you would.
That's fantastic. Well, so I'm going to ask, and this is the corny question that every time I ever watch these kind of things, I always have somebody ask. I said, so I'm going to start with Abdi, I think, on this one. All right. Where do you see yourself in this band 5 years from now? All right, come on, I'm putting you on the spot here. Abdi, what do you think? 5 years from now, you and Alejandro and David are still playing. Where do you see yourself at that point? What is your dream?
Man, why do I gotta be the first?
Come on, drummers, you have that personality. Come on, you got to do it. Come on.
God.
All right, talk to me, brother.
All right. Honestly, in my mind, I have zero clue because no one can predict the future at all. But if I gotta say if I have to say something, probably us three still recording albums, still going out playing. Maybe not like big old stadiums yet, because that's a far thing in the future. But maybe like, just like fair medium places, like let's say maybe bars or just regular areas, parks, etc. Still making music, recording our stuff, and maybe since I'm actually trying to make my own home studio, we don't have to go out and pay for other studios to record for us, so we can just do it on our own, record it, and all of that stuff. So that's where I see each other 5 years from now.
Bravo. How about you, David?
Mostly what Abdi said, except for the home studio part.
All right, so if you had your druthers, who would you want to be the opening act for on the
Good,
road?
good question.
Are we talking about dream bands? Or are we talking about more recent, like more actually believable kind of stuff?
Yeah. uh, Again, whatever. I mean, again, this is, the idea of being a musician is, and when I started many years, I always knew I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play my trumpet. I wanted to do that. I didn't know, as Abdi said, we don't know what's in the future, but I still had dreams that I wanted to come to Los Angeles and work in the studios here. So your dreams, and then your dreams, I can understand you want to continue working, you're going to keep making music with each other, but there is other things out there. So let's say you get an opportunity to go be an opening act for a major act. Who would you want? And it doesn't matter any style, doesn't have to be another heavy metal band, but just who would you want to do out there? Who would you want to do that with? Just to hang with them either. Also,
I would love to open for Metallica or Avenged Sevenfold. I would just love that.
whoops, I lost you. The phone was talking. Oh, you say that again one more
That's
time?
cool. So basically, I would love, dream wise, I would love to open for Metallica, but I would also love to open for Avenged Sevenfold because they also have a huge sound, which I would love to just, get a whiff of.
That's cool. Very cool. Very
Oh, and
cool.
for that, can I
Well, I
can I
mean, I think that, yeah, go.
can I answer the question you asked Abdi and David too? Like, where do I see myself in 5 years?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so
go for it.
so where do I see us in 5 years? So in 5 years, I see us performing a lot bigger, not bars, because I think we'll probably get that done next year or something, because we're like that. So basically, I'm thinking we finally have our own shows. So instead of us going to just little random little bits here and there, we have our own little show. Shows dedicated to us. We rent out maybe a small auditorium, a small area, a bigger fan base. We have another album out. We finally have merch out. We finally have Wasted Eternities as a business, not just something that we have fun with, a business as something that we can live off of, something we can be our dream with.
I love that. That's the thing for musicians, is that how blessed are we to do something that we love and get paid for it too? How cool is that? Anyway,
I'm going to,
anybody else
yeah, I'm going
have
to
anything to say?
step in for just a second. I'm gonna put on my wife's hat for a second. My wife's a business person, and I know what she would ask you guys is, okay, how are you going to get there? So you've got a plan. How are you going to get there step by step? What's the roadmap? And I think a lot of times with bands, things just kind of happen and they assume things are just going to happen, and they're not aggressive. But if you really put your mind to it, how are you going to get to this next step? Are you playing bars? Okay, so you're playing bars or you're playing small clubs. What's the next step and how are you going to get there? And that usually means talking to people and getting around and making those connections and being aggressive about that without being pushy. But think about the steps it's going to take to get you where you want to go. That would be my suggestion. Actually, my wife's suggestion.
Want the answer? I got an answer for that too.
You got an answer for that? Yeah.
Okay, so let me hear. Okay, so you say, how are we gonna get there? Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. So personally, me, I'm very open to talking to people. So what I'm thinking is networking. Go talk to other bands. Go talk to the people. Talk to venues. Talk to places and people who want to hear what you do. The people who will hear you, from there they'll talk to other people, and then it kind of links. But then again, I also want to do something for our fan base. Our fan base is what makes us up. They listen to our stuff, they do our things, they are essentially what makes us up. So I also, on the other end, I also want to start making merchandise for them, like making clothing, almost, right? Like almost breaking into another branch. of Wasted Eternities. Not just the music. That's always going to be the main stage. I always want to break out into other things. I don't want Wasted Eternities to just be one metal band that just sticks to one thing. That's kind of boring. What I'm thinking is make Wasted Eternity something greater than that. Make it almost a business, but also keep it a band.
I like that very much.
Bravo.
Yes. If I could just say a couple things. Yes, treating it like a business is, I love hearing you say that, because a lot of artists, musicians, vocalists, they spend so much time practicing their art and, and being an artist and learning and constantly evolving, that the marketing part is not attractive to them. It's they don't, most of them don't do it. I think people are doing it more now, but that has to be, and it is. You have a lot of things in place already. So that, and then I wonder, what kind of funding do you need for the next steps? Do you have a business plan, like to do merchandise? How will you fund that?
Right.
Are you going to get jobs to support yourselves in the meantime? And what kind of jobs? Hopefully they would be in the music industry. And and I mentioned that I thought your music was really appropriate for background music in films, possibly. And how do you submit your music? And other jobs off the path of just being, and performing, so you could be making money in the field that you love. So those are questions always that I ask. And that might be a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I love to hear that, because I always think about what you say. Like everything you just told me always is coming into my head saying, how am I going to fund this? And I always have a solution for that. Obviously, it may not come right now, may not come tomorrow, may not come next week. It's going to come to me. It's just going to take time.
Oh, sure. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, it's all really good. You guys have a good point of reference for yourselves and plan. But the funding is first, I don't know if you're going to be living on your own, paying rent, having bills, or if you're gonna, live with your parents, or what the situation is. But eventually you need money, right? We all need it. So, that could be another conversation. Does anybody have any ideas about that? Even in all the fields of like, individually, this is, I'm talking about, not as a group getting a job.
April, that's a good point. And one thing you could look at is internships. Now, a lot of internships are paid internships, and getting, say, at a record company or a recording studio or something in the music industry.
You muted yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I muted myself on purpose.
It reminds me of that joke.
Well, speaking of that, I mean,
But I was just
yeah,
gonna say,
go.
yeah, it reminds me of that joke. What do you call a guitar player whose girlfriend has broken up with him? Homeless. It is.
Homeless.
As a guitar player, I can say that, right? Because
Yeah, right.
if
Exactly.
you don't plan for things, that's what'll happen.
Right.
Well, Rick, I mean,
So,
we're at the top of the hour. I'm not sure if we want to have a more discussion, or how you feeling about maybe closing the session.
yeah, what I wanted to do was actually have plug their websites and their social media.
Yeah, let me.
How can the people
I think
listening get a
I think I have something I can put up for that. Let me put this up. I think this is. Oh, sorry. Well, I think this refers to, you guys are on Spotify, Apple Music, and BANDCAMP. But Alejandro, go ahead and give
Yeah,
them
of
any
course.
of your other social media.
So I do
Yeah.
have a link that links us to everything that we have, and I mean everything that we have. I mean everything that with our name on it, it's gonna be there. If there's anywhere to drop a link, I'd be more than glad to drop it.
Yeah, you can put it in the into the chat. You can put the link in.
I would love to, but how do I do that?
Let me see. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. If you look at the bottom there under, oh, do we not have chat?
Yeah, and I couldn't.
It doesn't look like we
question.
actually have chat.
Ish.
Yeah, we don't have
Well,
chat
it's fine.
enabled.
Well, it's fine. But all you wouldn't have to know is that our social medias are all Wasted Eternities. You can go on Google, find us. All of our songs will pop up. They are on Google. They are on YouTube. They are on Instagram. They are on all social media platforms. They are on all music platforms. If you would allow me to show my screen, I could show you the website I'm talking about.
Go for it.
So this is our website. This is this is not our website, but this is our link website. This links you to any one of our social medias. So say you want to go to our YouTube, you just click on YouTube and it will send you. Obviously, I can't click it from my end because I am the editor of this. So it's all on here. This is how we communicate with our fans mostly. See right there, this is the live stream we're doing today, the Ruins live stream, June 3rd at 12 p.m.
Excellent.
If you could send me that, I could post it on our website
On it.
as follow-up. That would be great, just a list, what you just showed. And, you know, whoever posted or tweeted about the event, you know, later today, we could say it's a great event, and here's the social media, here's the contact information, and just get it out there. That would be great.
Fantastic. That's great. Abba, do you have anything, any last words or anything, Abba?
I'm just, like I said earlier, proud of them. They've got good heads on their shoulders. I mean, they know what they want. You know, they're good young men, and I can't wait. And I told them I may be using a cane, walking, but I need to be, you know, backstage somewhere when they start playing. You know, when they're the sold out concerts. So no, they're just really talented students, and
That's great.
we're proud to have them and represent Englewood. So
that's fantastic. I mean, again, to see the growth just in the 2 years since I last heard you guys play to now, it's amazing. And I am excited in 5 years to see where you're going to go and what you're going to do. I just really want to thank everybody, this whole group. Don Williams, again, you know, I love you, brother. So thrilled that you're here to speak. Tom, fantastic Tom. We didn't hear from Cindy, which was surprising because she talks more than everybody, but I think she's probably all talked out. Maybe that's why she had Tom talk. Anyway, I also want to thank my brother, Mr. John Acosta. And guys, we have nothing but the greatest joy and pleasure to see you guys. And I could hardly wait to see where you're going to go in your career. And I hope you feel the same way where you're going to go in your career. Everybody, thank you so very much for everybody, for Musicians at Play, the Music Fund of Los Angeles, and me personally. I want to thank everybody here. Guys, you are amazing. Keep it up, and let's all stay in touch. And I hope everybody out there will look it for Wasted Eternities. Remember that name because you're going to hear a lot about them. Thank you so very, very much, everybody.
Bravo. Bravo.
Bye-bye.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.